Before we start on today's video, I would like to introduce our Instagram account at LSFTvideos. You can see some updates on my experience with the NX450 Plus, which may not be shown on any future videos. You can also reach me via direct messaging on Instagram if you have any questions on your NX. And if you like this video, you can provide comments, like this video, and share this video with your friends, and subscribe to my channel, and press that bell icon to get notified when new videos are posted. And if you'd like to support me further and support this channel, you can also provide a super thanks, which is greatly appreciated. And now, let's get to the video. Hey, it's LSF here today, and today we're here to look at the UK sales and also another news on the Lexus RZ, the Lexus first official global BEV that is on sale. Let's start with the UK sales. So UX, it hasn't been doing well last year, but this year it seems to be doing much better. You can see April, May, June, they've been doing record sales, and July continues that trend. So 524 units. And if you look at since the delivery of the UX, this is actually the best July ever. And then looking at the total sales, 2,699, they are almost close to what they sold last year already. But looking at 5,430, it's a little bit still far from that. But if we look at the first 7 months, 2,837 in 2021, we're still 200, about 100 and something units difference. So they could catch up, but you can see September, they need to sell over that number in order to really achieve the record-breaking year, but we will have to see. The UX Electric, 39 units, 0 last month, 39 best one ever, but it doesn't seem to be catching on. Even when they've added more battery capacity to the vehicle, it still seems to be not catching on. 296 seems to be not too bad, and if we compare that to last year, 254, they are selling more than last year. So we will have to see how that goes. Alright, so then when we move over to the total UX sales, 563, record-breaking already. So the last 4 months have been record-breaking. And Lexus did say that they are going to be recovering more in the latter half of the year. So we will have to see what that really means. Alright, so then we move over to the NX. The NX, very disappointing month for July. 171 on the hybrid vehicle. Even though 1,300 on the hybrid, it seems to be better than last year, because last year up to July was only 732. Definitely much better than last year. But I think it really depends. So getting back to 4,764 is going to be a little bit tough, because when you look at it, it's not going to work out. However, because now they have the NX450 Plus, and it's been another breaking month. July, the best July ever, even though there's only 2 Julys to compare to. When you look at July up to last year, 796. They have delivered 1,289. So that's significantly more. So we are seeing more plug-in hybrids going out the door, which is great news for anybody waiting for plug-in hybrids. It does mean that the supply is getting better. Then when we look at the total NX sales, 357, still nowhere close to the 432. So we will have to see. I think next month they probably would be breaking it in August if they continue this trend, but I think they are still far from full recovery, right? But again, September, we should see a big number of registrations in September, and then we will be able to see how big of a difference we are talking about. All right, well, let's move down to the RX. So the RX, the new redesign, doesn't seem to be doing well. It may be too big of a car for UK. I don't really know why. But if you look at the first 7 months of last year, 1,216, we're only at 575. That is a bit far, right? And then when we look at the plug-in hybrid, 45. So didn't sell as much as last month, but still delivering 45. still low in volume, 506 for the first 7 months. Then when we look at the total for July, 140. If you look at it, it's actually not too bad because their best was 172 in 2020. And then when you look at the total 1,081, it's still, I would say, a little bit far. That's 1,216 from last year. All right, let's move back up here. So IS is no longer sold, the ES. So 115 units in July, 993 in the year. Seems to be very close to last year already. If we compare to up to July, 566, 993 seems to be much better this year, right? A very good month for July, and I think we're seeing better than last year for sure. Are we going to get to the 1440? Let's see. July, 948. So it's close. So we probably could see 1400 of ESs out the door. LS 5, again, low selling volume, so we're not going to be that big of a difference. You probably will be looking at 9 to 10 units in the whole year. LC 45, almost close to last year's delivery, so only 3 difference. So I think we're going to go over last year, but are we going to hit the 64? A little bit tough, but let's see. 50, 45, so I think we're going to get close to around the 50-ish range. RC, another low volume, 5 units sold, 12 last year. I don't think we're going to get that much closer. All right, RZ, 37 BEVs went out the door, so total of 220. Not doing better, but I think we'll have to wait for the registrations in September to see if these numbers are going to get better, because typically there are higher numbers in September. So overall, 220, not too bad for our first BEV, but definitely not something that record-breaking or going to be smashing those record-breaking BEV charts. So that's where we're going to look at it. And total, if we look at it, 1,217, not as good as the 1309, but not trailing too far behind. And 7,932 units. So if you look at 2019, their best year, 8,532. So they're only a little bit under that. If you look at last year, 5,336. So we are a lot better than last year here. So I think we just need to see September. If they can get 3,000 something units, we will see much better results overall for 2023 in UK. And I think people are starting to get their cars. So I think these are going to be better months coming forward. And then we just look at the total of NXs, 2,588. If we look at the best year was actually 2018. And if we look at here, that was 2,899. So they're short of that, but I think it's possible that this year could be a breaking year for the NX in UK. So the news about the Lexus RZ450e, it's really related to its EPA rating. So we all know that the RZ doesn't have a lot of range compared to the competitor, right? A lot of them have more than 250 miles, whereas the RZ only has 220 on the 18-inch and 196 on the 20-inch, right? And this actually is saying that the RZ actually has, both of them are actually over 200 miles based on the EPA rating. But for some reason, Lexus has decided to actually reduce the number. So you can see here it says 220 miles and not 196. But when Inside EVs actually went in and studied the EPA documents, it actually shows up that the 20-inch version actually has 200 miles. It's just that 6 miles were actually reduced. It was actually voluntarily lowered by Lexus. So it was supposed to be 202. I don't know why they actually wouldn't say 200 miles and just have 2 miles of voluntary lowered, so that it actually makes it feel better, because sometimes when you look at it, 199 and 200, people get a different sense of, oh, it's still in the ballpark of 200s, right? I really don't know. We all know it's not that big of a difference. Toyota being Toyota, Lexus being Lexus, they are very conservative. So I think that's why they've actually voluntarily lowered the miles and not actually having it over 200. But I guess some people would actually say it doesn't matter. It's still not a very efficient. It's actually very bad in mileage and range. Well, we all know, yes, it is. It's not the best BEV you can find in the marketplace, right? So when you look at it, they're just explaining that the range, there's some learnings here, because what they're saying here is based on the information that they have, the combined city and highway ratings. So they're saying that the combined ratings for the 18-inch is 220 miles, whereas the city, if you drive it on the city, you get 236.4 miles, and on the highway, it's 200 miles. And that totally makes sense. Even on my plug-in hybrid, the NX450h Plus, when I drive on the highway, if I drive 100, great. I actually get very close to the EPA ratings. But when I actually drive 120 kilometers per hour, then you can actually see it reduced. So it gets about 60-ish, or sometimes even 58 kilometers of EV range. And if I go even more aggressive, 130, it actually goes down to like 50s, like in the 50 to 55 range. So we do see that difference, especially the faster you drive, the faster that battery actually depletes. And then when you look at the 20-inch wheels, combined is 196, city is 210, and the highway is 177. So if you really drive aggressively, I think you probably only get 170 or 160-ish if you drive extremely fast. So there we have it. It does say that the RZ has more range than it is, and I believe it because my experience with the plug-in hybrid, you can actually get much more mileage in EV range if you drive it correctly. And if you just drive it as aggressive as possible, definitely those numbers are going to go down. And it's interesting that Lexus has decided to voluntarily reduce the range and not actually make it so that it actually sounds better and it feels better. For whatever reason, they've decided to voluntarily reduce the number of miles, like of 6 miles, to 196 instead of 202 miles. So there we have it, the news about the RZ, and hopefully we'll get more information as more BEVs come out from Lexus. But at this time, I would say it's a good try, and it'll actually work for people who just want to go and do their errands or just drive locally. I think even at this point, when you look at it, they say that you can get about 300-ish kilometers. It actually works quite well for my living. Like, I probably just drive 300-ish kilometers a week. So if I only needed to charge it once a week, it's not that bad. But if I'm going to go on a trip, yes, definitely this car is not the trip car, right? It will be the other car in the garage. Hopefully this is great information for you, and until next time, drive safely. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please comment, like, share this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel and press that bell icon to get notified when new videos are posted. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can provide me a super thanks. And until next time, cheers.